The only way to learn is to create something on your own. Hey guys, in this episode we are going to build this awesome multi-page responsive website with our Planet Earth branding. As you can see how beautiful this background image is and how clean the UI is.
I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that
I opened the project folder inside VS Code. Here we have all the images and a styles.css file in which we have a font called Yosh from Google Fonts and all the colors that we are going to use in this website. I put a link in the description down below to download these so that you guys can get started. So now let's create our index.html file. Inside this, if you press Shift 1 and enter, this will create a default HTML template. The first line, it says doctype HTML. This says the browser that this is an HTML5 document, and as you can see, HTML open and closing tags, head open and closing tags, and body open and closing tags. And let's change this title to Earth. You can link your CSS file inside this head tag. So link rel is style sheet, and inside the href you have to give your CSS file path name. So this should be styles.css, and inside the body, let's see, we have this background image, and inside that we have this nav and this header content. I'll create a section with an ID of header. Inside this header we have our nav. Like before that, as you can see, any content inside the website is less than or equal to 1200 pixel. As you can see, this header is start from here and ending it here, and all other pages, as you can see, it can have a maximum of 1200 pixel width. We have this header, which is this entire image you are seeing. Inside that, let's create a div with a class name of container, and inside this container, which is this container, we have this nav and this header content. So let's create the nav. Inside the nav we have logo, which is an h1, that should be Earth, and after this logo, this is the entire nav. Inside that we have logo and these nav links. So after the logo, let's create a UL with an ID of nav links, and inside this nav links we have allies, which is should be an anchor tag. This is for home, and let's duplicate this 3 more times. To do that, you can hold Alt Shift and down arrow in Windows or Command Shift down arrow in Mac. As you can see, I have duplicated it. This is about, this is for service, and this is for contact. You understood, right? This entire thing is our header, and inside this we have this container, and inside that container we have this nav, and inside that nav we have logo and these nav links, and after that we have to create this header content. See, after the nav, let's create a div with a class name of header content, and inside this header content, which is this, we have a h1 with the text Earth. We have p tag with the text and less potential, and after that we have a button with a class name of primary btn. This is for explore. Okay, now let's open this with live server. If you don't know what live server is, if you right click on this, you can find this option right here. If you don't have this option, click on this extensions tab right here, search for live server, simply install this extension, open with live server, click on that. This will open our website inside the browser. As you can see, we have Earth and this nav links and the header content. So now let's style this up. open your CSS file. So for the body, let's make font family to Yoast, and as a fallback, sans serif. As you can see, this font is applied, and by default you can see every HTML element has a default padding and margins. So to remove that, I'll select all the elements inside HTML by using hashtags. I'll make margin as 0 and padding as 0 and box sizing border box. All the default margin and paddings will be removed. This asterisk will select every single element inside HTML, which is all of these divs, navs, ul, allies, and every single element inside HTML. We are making margin and paddings to 0 and box sizing to border box. So for our header, let's make width as 100 VW and a min height of 100 VH, and this have an background image. This should be URL. You can put background image by using background image property and URL to the image that you want. So this should be inside images main.png. So you have to make background position as center, background size, cover. Now as you can see, we have this beautiful background. Now let's style our navbar and this header content. So for the container, make max width as 1200 pixel and margin auto, and after the container we have our nav. For that, make display as flex and justify content space between. Now as you can see, whenever you apply display flex to this will be aligned one after another, and if you make justify content space between, this will be here and the other children will be at the end of the flex box. So now for the nav links also, let's make display flex so that it will be aligned in a row, and let's remove these dots right here. Inside the nav we have the UL. For that, make display flex and list style none and gap 32 pixel, means this gap will set a space between each element that was inside this flex box. By default every anchor tag has this color and this underline, so let's remove that. Right here, for our every anchor tag, text decoration should be none and color should be inherit. So this will take whatever the color that its parent has. This was in black color. So for the nav, make padding top and bottom 32 pixel and left and right 0. And inside nav, for the logo, let's make font size to 20 pixel. For the header content, let's make display as flex and align items center and justify content center and gap 16 pixel, and flex direction should be column, and inside header we have the h1. For that, font size should be 60 pixel, and for that color should be primary dark. For the primary button, padding 10 pixel top and bottom and 24 pixel left and right, and this should be, and background color should be primary dark and color should be white, and border none, and cursor pointer should be light, and font weight for this h1. After the header content we have the tagline. For the tagline, let's make font size to 40 pixel and color primary dark, and for the entire header content let's add a margin top. For this header content, add margin top 60 pixel As you can see, we have this beautiful navigation bar and this header content, some hover effect to our button. On hover, the background should be primary dark, and this should have a transition of all 0.3 seconds is. You can see when I hover on it, it has this beautiful hover effect. And for the nav links, let's make the font size. So nav UL, let's make font size to 18 pixel. Now let's make this responsive. As you can see, if I inspect, as you can see, this was not at all responsive. So to make it responsive, I'll write a media query here, media only screen and max width of 520 pixel. Whatever screen size that is less than 520 pixel, the size that we're gonna write here will be applied. Inside header content, for the h1, let's make font size to 32 pixel. And inside header content, for the tagline, let's make font size to 24 pixel. Inside the nav, for the UL, make position as absolute 0 and right 0, and flex direction column. And for the header, min height to 50 VH. And for the nav links, which is this nav links, let's add a background color of white. For this, add width 80% and height 100%, and align items and add a padding of 16 pixel. And inside the nav list, for each li, let's add border bottom 1 pixel solid of primary dark and width 100% and padding 16 pixel, and text align right. And for the UL right here, let's add padding top of 60 pixel. Let's make this to 8 pixel top and bottom and 16 pixel left and right. Now let's add the toggle menu button here. So inside the HTML, after this UL, let's add menu btn. Inside that we have the image. Inside img, menu.svg. So for the menu button, at here, let's make position as absolute, and it should, for the right, 16 pixel and top 16 pixel. Add background primary light and padding 8 pixel and 12 pixel, and border radius 4 pixel, and display flags, align item center and justify content center. You can see we have this toggle button, and as you can see, for the earth right here, without this we need a padding. For the entire nav, padding top and bottom 16 pixel and left and right 16 pixel. Great. And let's change this to 80 pixel so that we have some extra space right here. So whenever we click on this button, we have to make this disappear. So to do that, inside the body tag, just before closing body tag, let's write our script. Inside the script, at here, let's get our menu button, menu btn, that is equal to, inside our document, which is our HTML document, query selector, this should be menu btn, and we have to get our nav links. Inside our document, query selector. We have to make dot nav links, and here also we have to put dot. So for the menu button, let's add an event listener, which is click, which means whenever we click on this menu button, the function that we write here will run. See, inside this variable called menu button, we are storing the menu button HTML element, which is this menu btn. So whenever we click on that menu btn, for the nav links dot class list dot toggle active. As you can see, whenever I click on this, you can see we have active class name, and when I click again, that will be removed. See, we are toggling active. By default, we have to hide this nav links. Whenever we click on this, we have to show this. So to do that, at the nav list right here, let's make margin right minus 900 pixel. So this will go out of the screen. As you can see, that was not appearing here. So whenever that nav UL has a class name of active, you have to make sure there is no space between this. See, ul dot active margin right 0. So as you can see, when I click here, it will appear, and I click again, it will disappear. So let's add a smooth transition to that. Transition all 0.3 seconds is, you can see this will appear and disappear. And as you can see, we have this menu button here also. We have to hide that. So for the menu button, which is this button right here, make display as none, and this menu button should be visible inside our mobile screens. So right here, for the menu button, make display as block. Understood, right? Now let's create our services section. After the header section, I'll create another section with an ID of services. As you can see, if you give hash and the ID name, it will create a section with an ID of services, and I want to give a class name of container to this. So dot and the class name. As you can see, it created a section with an ID of services and class container. So inside this, we have each service. I'll create a div with a class name of service, and inside this we have an image, which is inside images service 1. After that, we have a h1 with web design and a p tag with this text, and duplicate this service 2 more times. To do that, simply copy that and hold Alt, Shift and down arrow. This will help you duplicate, and this is for service 2, and this is for 3, and this should be graphic design and content creation, and you can change this text if you want. For now, I'm just keeping it. Okay, after the services section, let's create the HTML for all other sections so that we can style this entire thing at once. As you can see, next we have about section. So I'll create a section with a class name with an ID of about and a class name of container, and inside this we have about content, which we have a h1 about us and a p tag with this text. And after the about content, we have about image, in which we have a image about.png, and after that we have this talk to us section. Let's create that also. After the about section, I'll create another section with an ID of talk to us, and as you can see, I'm not giving a class name of container to this, because as you can see, we have this background. If you apply container to this, it will occupy only 1200 pixel of width, so I'm not adding container class name to that section. So inside this section, I will create a container for this text, for this content, talk to us. talk to us content. Here we have an h1, the text of talk to us, and after that we have a p tag with this text and a button with a class name of primary btn, which should be get in touch. And after this talk to us section, we have the footer section. For the footer, as you can see here, we have nav links, earth, and this copyright text. Create a UL with a class name of footer links, and inside that we have analyze. This should be home, and this is for about, services, and contact. And after this we have h1 with a class name of logo. This should be earth, and after that we have a p tag. Great. Now let's style this using our CSS. So for the services section, services, I'll make display flex so that it will align all the 3 services in a row, and I'll make margin top 120 pixel and gap of 16 pixel, and inside services we have service. So for each of that I'll make width to 300 pixel, and inside each service we have an image service. For the image, make max width as 100% so that it can only take 300 pixel of width. As you can see, we have these 3 services in a row and it has a gap of 16 pixel between each of those. So to make this into center, for the services section which we have applied display flex, make justify content as center. So to make this responsive, as you can see, if I inspect and if I open it in mobile, as you can see, these are still in a row. In mobile we have to show this in a column. So flex wrap as wrap. If there is no enough width of 300 pixel for this each service, it will come down, and in desktop devices it has 3 in a row, and in tablet 2, whereas in mobile it has only 1 service in each row. And let's change this gap to 30 pixel so that we have some extra gap. And inside service, for the p tag, let's make color to gray. For the about section, in the about section, as you can see, we have this about content and this image. So we want that content and image to be in a row, so simply apply display flex and margin top 120 pixel. Now you can see this content was here and this image was here. So for the about content, max width of 500 pixel, as you can see, so that it will has only 500 pixel of width. And to align this image to the right of here, for the about section, make justify content space between, so that this content will be to the left and this image to be at the right. So to align this text right here into center, for the about content, make display flex and flex direction column and justify content center. And let's change this to, so inside about content, for the h1, make font size as 32 pixel and color primary dark and text transform uppercase. And if you apply flex wrap as wrap to this, and inside about section, for the image, make max width as 100% so that it won't overflow out of the screen. And for the entire container, for this container, add padding top and bottom 0 and left and right 8 pixels. Now let's style this talk to us section. After about section, for this we have a background image, URL, inside our images, talktous.png, and background size, cover and background position, and add a min height of 500 pixel. Now for the talk to us content, make display as flex and align items center and flex direction column and justify content center and height 500 pixel, and inside talk to us content for the p tag make max width as 500 pixel and gap 16 pixel, and inside talk to us for the h1 make color primary dark. You can see we have this talk to us content section also. Now let's style this footer section. So for the footer, make display flex and justify content space between. So for the footer links, inside footer for the UL make display flex and list style none and gap 32 pixel, and for the entire footer add padding top and bottom 16 pixel and left and right 0 and align items center, and inside footer for the logo make color to primary dark. Now as you can see we have this beautiful footer also, and as you can see we have this horizontal scroll bar. We don't want that, so to remove that, for the body tag add overflow X hidden so that we don't have this horizontal scrolling. Talk to us section add margin top, and for the talk to us section add margin top 120 pixel. Now let's inspect this and open this in mobile device. Now let's make this footer responsive. For the footer make flex direction column and align items center and padding top and bottom 32 pixel and left and right 0. And for the footer content and for the talk to us content, let's add padding top and bottom 0 and left and right 16 pixel. You can see our website is completely responsive. Now we came to the exciting part of this tutorial, which is creating the multi-page. Now let's create this contact page and link this contact page to our home page that we already built in your editor. At here inside this root folder, let's create another file called contact.html, and inside this let's copy until this header section and paste it here, and after that we need footer also. So from the footer to the bottom right here, simply copy that and paste it after this. Now let's link this contact.html to our index.html. Inside the nav links at here, for the contact, for the href give contact.html. Now let's open the browser, and when you click on this contact.html, as you can see this was opening the contact.html page. So inside our contact.html, in the header content we only need the h1, so I remove that, and for this header I will give it an ID of contact header So for this contact header, inside the CSS at here, write a command contact page. For that contact header, let's make min height to 400 pixel and background image URL inside images contact banner.png, background size, cover and background position center, and contact us. And after this contact header section, we have to create our contact form. I'll create a section with an ID of contact us and a class name of container, and inside that we have our form. Inside the form we have a h1 with the text get in touch. After this h1 we have these inputs. So I'll create a div with a class name of inputs wrapper, and inside that we have a input that is for your name, and another input for phone number, another input of email, and the placeholder email, and after that we have text area which is for message. After the form, let's create another div with a class name of address, and inside that we have an h1 talk to us. And after this, for all of these four things right here, let's create a wrapper. I'll create a details wrapper, and inside this details wrapper we have this detail. So inside that detail, see, closely observe, this entire thing is address, and inside that we have this h1 and this details wrapper, and inside that details wrapper we have this detail, and inside this detail we have this icon and this text. So inside this detail I'll create an image. This should be inside images email.png, and for the detail text I'll create a div with a class name of text, and inside that let's create a h6 with email with something at example.com with some random email, and duplicate this detail, and this is for phone number, enter some random phone number, and this is for location, I'll put a BR here, and after these details, and which is this details wrapper, I'll create follow us wrapper. For that we have a h3 follow us, and after that social links and an UL with a class name of social links, and inside that we have an li with an anchor tags in which we have some images. This is inside images Facebook, and duplicate this, and this is for LinkedIn, and this is for video. Understood, right? So we have created this content section, and inside that this form, and inside the form we have the inputs wrapper in which we have all these 3 inputs, and we forgot to add this button. So after the inputs, let's add a button with a class name of primary btn. This should be send now. So after that we created this address wrapper, which is this address wrapper, this entire thing, and inside that we have the h1, and after that we have the details wrapper to hold these entire details, and after that we have this followers wrapper, and inside that we have this social links, and in each social link we have this each icon. Let's remove this. As you can see, our site is currently looking like this. Now let's style this up. Make display. After that, for the inputs wrapper, make display flex and flex direction column, and for this justify content, space between, and gap of 20 pixel, and for the inputs wrapper add margin top 60 pixel and margin left 60 pixel, and inside inputs wrapper for every input let's add padding 10 pixel top and bottom, 16 pixel left and right, and width 100%. So inside contact us for the form, if you have to make flex basis 50%. Also let's make flex basis as 50%. And we need space between this address and this form. So for the contact us, as we apply display flex for this, if you make gap 60 pixel. Now for the details wrapper, which is this details wrapper, make display flex flex direction column and gap 16 pixel, and inside details wrapper we have detail. For each detail make display as flex, and inside detail for the image let's make width to 40 pixel and height 40 pixel. And for the detail let's add some gap of 10 pixel, and inside detail for the h6 let's make color to gray, and for the entire details wrapper let's add margin top 60 pixel, and after that for the follow us wrapper add margin top 30 pixel and margin left 30 pixel. Inside that we have social links. For that add display flex and gap 16 pixel, and list style none, and margin top 16 pixel. And now let's style our inputs a little bit. So for the input let's increase this padding to 12 pixel, and for the border 1 pixel solid of primary dark. This should be inside var, and outline none. As you can see, this was not responsive. To make this responsive for the entire contact us, inside the media queries, make flex direction as column. You can see this was one below other. For the, if you remember, for the inputs wrapper we have margin left, so let's remove that. So for the inputs wrapper, let's remove margin left to 0. You can see we have this responsive. Okay, now inside the contact page, inside now at the home right here, let's link our index.html. So now as you can see, if I click on home, we'll go to home page, and if I click on contact, we'll go to contact page. So like this. So as we built our home page and this contact page, try to build this about page and services page on your own as a take home assignment. Link in the description down below where you downloaded all of these images. You can find this about and services page designs. So try to make it on your own. So after that, post it online in LinkedIn, Instagram or YouTube, anywhere, and tag me so that I will provide you some feedback. So the only way to learn is to build something on your own. So as far as you learn to build this home page and this contact page, try to build this about and services page on your own. And you can find some more JavaScript projects in our channel. Check that playlist also.